Now, my videos are intended for the ones my videos are intended for the ones that are ready for the truth. Now, my videos are intended for the ones that are meant to hear the truth. So if you're not seeking truth, then I think the videos are not for you, okay? You're going to find yourself getting triggered and they may make you feel a certain way. But for the ones that understand spiritual warfare, then I'm very sure you are open to hear the truth, okay? Let us talk about spiritual warfare. Now, a chosen individual is a person, an individual who is spiritually, they are anointed, okay? They have a mark on their life. They are anointed from the Most High, by the Most High. And the enemy will be aware of your arrival, okay? So from birth, a lot of you guys, there's a very big chance you have been born in a really dysfunctional family matrix. There's some of you who have been born in a family full of witches, warlocks, wizards, covens. Now, in those particular families, they have summoned. Now, this is very sensitive. I want you to listen very closely. In those particular families, the head of the family has summoned certain entities into the family for their own reasons. Maybe for wealth, maybe for, I don't know, could be for health, could be for different reasons. And they have summoned an entity or entities in that unit. Deities. Some people call them deities. So they worship certain deities. So this is a video. If you ever had your family members, maybe they're into witchcraft, sometimes you see your father going for these secret meetings. They have a certain small group of people. They meet every other week or every other month. Then that is what you're dealing with, okay? Those people have summoned certain deities into the family. There is something very powerful you have got to understand. Overstand. You're not welcome in those families. There was no other option. Yes, he was born or whatever. But on a really deeper spiritual level, you're not welcome. They wasn't expecting you. So maybe your parents was thinking, oh, let's make an abortion. Maybe your parents, when your mother got pregnant, maybe your father was like, let's make an abortion. You could because this child A, B, C, D, or maybe sometimes you was young, and they have sent you off, or they have dropped you off to an orphanage. Maybe they tried even to get rid of you in a couple of different ways. You're not welcome. But you're still here, okay? For some reason, you're still here. What is now going to happen at a very young age? Those parents of yours, the witches and warlocks and whatever, they are going to ask for guidance from those deities. The deities they summoned even before you came here, because they could have been doing this for years. Even before. Now, what really happens is those deities have given them advice, because they're not afraid of you in physical, the body and whatever, your physique, whatever. They're not afraid of you in physical, on this 3D. They are afraid of you in spirit, because you are the anointed one, you are the chosen one. So they are worried about what could happen somewhere down the line. So those deities will advise them to put a spell on you. Now we are going to talk about breaking the spell. The deities they summoned when you was a kid, this thing has happened. Actually, you was not even, by that time you're not even conscious. You was just a little child. You didn't know what was going on. So those people now, they put a spell on. They were advised to put a spell on you. The spell on you was intended to put you to sleep. So they deactivated your spirit. Okay? As disturbing as it might seem, there's even some things what do they call it? I feel uncomfortable to talk about them. Sometimes they could have done something on you. Maybe there is a practice they did. Some of these covens, I've already heard about a story of a woman who actually spat. You know, to spit. They spat in the child's mouth. And there are some things they said, incantations they said, when the child was still a baby. They was doing a certain ritual. It was a spell, and the intention of the spell was to put you to sleep, to deactivate your spirit. So your spirit was put to sleep. Now, all throughout life, they have already identified you as a chosen one. So you will usually turn out to become the most hated individual in the unit. And eventually, you're going to become the scapegoat of the family. So they are going to dump all this karma onto you. So those things you see them doing, the blaming and stuff like that, and the punishments, they are just transferring their karma onto you. Is why the black sheep of the family, the chosen one, suffers the most. That spell is going to follow you around in the spirit, energetically, everywhere that you go. So in other words, the scapegoating will happen inside of the unit, and it is going to continue all throughout your life. You are going to continue getting scapegoated with your friends in the village where you are born, the neighborhood. You will continue to be scapegoated in your church. You will continue to be scapegoated in your work. And you are going to continue meeting those same entities in different scenarios of your life, depending on where you are and where you go. Now, in most case scenarios, what you're dealing with, the spell that was initially done on you when you was a kid, these people have summoned certain deities to follow you along the way, regardless of where you go, and the mission is to keep you as asleep as they can. You would never get activated. So your activation will call for breaking the curse. Is where you hear the term generational curse breaker. You are here to break a curse. These deities know that. So they are extremely afraid of you. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? My videos are not for everyone, okay? My videos are not for everyone. The ones who are ready for these messages, they will always get this message. Okay? I may be speaking in parables and sometimes it's getting very confusing. You are going to be followed by these deities everywhere that you go. We're talking about spirit, forget about these bodies and physical and everything. You're going to feel like you've been fighting a battle, and that battle has continued to manifest in your private life, everywhere that you went. It didn't matter if you was at home, it didn't matter whether you was in a relationship, you got married, maybe you was in a job. You have been actually dealing with the spell. The initial spell they cast on you when you was a kid. Are we together? So, at some point later on, you are going to notice a very unusual presence. Something they call gang stalking. You're going to feel like people are following you around. There's a similar energy following you around. People moving around, they spy on you, then they run away, then sometimes they come and stalk your social media pages. If you're the person who is online, they will make these fake profiles, they will try to see what you're doing, what is he up to. You're being gang stalked. Are we together, my chosen ones? In other words, what I'm trying to say, you are dealing with the same spell they put on you because they summoned deities to follow you around everywhere that you go. The intention of those spells was to do a few things, because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. If the killing has failed somehow, because it will eventually fail, you are a chosen one, you are anointed, they will fail to take you out of the way. So what they are going to do, they are going to destroy you physically and spiritually. Physically, it has already manifested because you're already at a stage in your life where you are going through a lot of suffering and you don't know where that suffering is coming from. Unlike all the family members in the unit, you are the one that is suffering the most, has even suffered the most. So it's not a coincidence. Your suffering is not a coincidence. You're dealing with a spell. Let's go even deeper now. Spiritual warfare has got nothing to do with your religion. A person can be attacked spiritually, whether they are Buddhist, Hindu, whether they are, what do they call those, Pentecost, whether they are Catholic. It does not matter what is your religion. It's what I've told you guys. As a spiritual person, from a spiritual perspective, spiritual warfare, it has nothing to do with religion. What you're dealing with is something much more deeper than religion itself. For you to start getting your power back, breaking the curse, aligning yourself with your truest self, the truest, most authentic self, that version of you that was hiding from you, because all these things have been intended to hide you from your highest version, greatest version, okay? Most authentic version. That's what they was afraid about. So they put you in a slumber state. You'll be walking around and doing things, but you're going to be blocked. Most of the times you have been blocked from reaching your highest potential, because those warlocks and wizards was afraid about you reaching your greatest potential. That was the biggest threat. Is why they had to put you to sleep. They failed to kill you, so they had to destroy you. So when you're seeing a lot of times you're losing money, sometimes you're getting money just slips out of your hands. Sometimes you try with relationships, you only end up with narcissists. All these things that have been happening, every event has been an extension of that initial spell someone put on you when you was a kid. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has got to be your parents. This thing can even happen when you have other family members in your vicinity that had access to you when you was a kid. So they could have done it secretly. Maybe your mother dropped you off at an auntie at a young age. The auntie stayed with you for 2-3 months. That thing could have happened there when you was in that auntie's place. because your energy is a different energy. So when you have encounters or engagements with people that are into dark arts and magic and stuff like that, then eventually they cannot operate around you. So that is why they have to do these secret rituals, and they try to put a spell on you. So now you understand that all these dreams you've been having, the nightmares, people running after you, you're going this way, you're going that way. You know you're a good person, you're a chosen one, but you're having these very weird, strange dreams. Sometimes even nightmares. You're waking up in your sleep, you're seeing some shadows in the corner of your house. You feel like somebody's sitting on your bed. Personally, my mother's late, God bless her soul. But I remember very well one of the things I heard my mother say. Sometimes she would wake up. My mother was an empath, okay? She would wake up and she would recognize like somebody sitting on her chest, or sometimes she would see somebody sitting on the side of her bed. So those things have been happening to you, chosen ones. The horrific dreams, spiritual attacks. You felt like you couldn't get a break. It was a spell, okay? You was fighting different entities that was manifesting in almost every area of your life. So in other words, you have been under very intensive spiritual warfare. You've been battling these demons, these deities and these entities. For you to start to get a break, there's a few things you have to do. If you didn't see my video, I did a video of how to call your power back. Okay? And I've told you guys you need to listen to that message for at least 21 days. You can even go on and on for as long as it's necessary until you start to experience certain changes happening in your own personal life. But even before you start calling your power back, you have got to break the spell. It's why I've told you it is not even important what religion you follow. You're a Bible scholar, you read your Bible, okay, Jesus and what, the scriptures and everything, use it. You need to make sure in every prayer that you do or you say, you have got to make sure that you are breaking the initial spell that anyone or anything might have put on you, whether you was aware of it or not. A lot of chosen ones are walking around and moving around with that spell. There's even a lot of them that are not aware. It is only when you start awakening are you going to be confronted by these demons that have been following you around, because you start to see them. Even on this 3D, you start to see the manifestation that has been happening that you wasn't aware of. So you get a clear understanding that you've been fighting demonic warfare behind the scenes. When you awaken, you will see them. They are going to manifest in the people that you will meet. Sometimes they may manifest in the wife that you married or the husband that you married. Okay? So what you're doing now, when you're breaking the spell, you are breaking spiritual codes. In the spirit, the spell is broken in spirit. You start by revisiting. You have got an awakening. You're now starting to revisit your childhood and pay attention to what used to happen in your childhood. So you remember the grandmother, maybe she took you out on one day, she went you and there was a little secret meeting somewhere, in a small hut somewhere, and there was things they were singing, or there's things that they said, or she told you to take a bath. It could have been something. Now for me it was a bath. Okay? I remember going and I was told to take a bath. I don't know what was in that bath, but there's some things they did and they put in the bath. And there could have been other ones that I was not aware of, but the one I can remember, I took a bath. Now, when you're revisiting your history, your childhood, you're not starting to remember the events that used to happen in the world that was around you at the time, the people that you used to meet, the things they used to do, what they used to say, and you're starting to connect the dots. And you're understanding that is exactly when the spell was placed on you. Sometimes you might have had parents who told you things like, I shouldn't have given birth to you. You should have died. You wasn't supposed to be here. You know, you're no longer my son. You're no longer my daughter. Those kind of things. You have had parents who are telling you those things. So those was the demons in them that were speaking, because they already hated you and they didn't like you from day one. So when you are praying, like I've said, you are Hindu, Buddhist, I don't know what, Anglican, you what, I don't know what religion you believe in. Spiritual, there's different ways that you have already been taught how to pray. But when you are breaking a curse, even before you call back your power, because I've told you that when there was casting that spell on you, that is when your spirit was put to sleep and your power has been already manifesting somewhere else throughout your life. Somebody has been using your power and your destiny for their own advantage while you were suffering because they had put you to sleep through a curse or a certain spell. Again, my videos are very disturbing. Slowly, the ones that would understand, they will get it. You are not breaking the curse. You're breaking the spell. You have got to be sure. You need to mention when you're praying, maybe you've got some spiritual practices you're doing. You have got to make sure you also mention to break that spell that was put on you or placed on you back in the days when you was a kid. If you identify as a chosen one, 99 out of 100%, 99% of the times, you have already, somebody put a spell on you many years ago. You was not even aware of anything. You go back and break that spell. I don't know what language you're using. You can speak Chinese, you will speak Japanese, you speak Korean, I don't know, you speak German. Use your language, use your religion, use your faith to break that initial spell that was placed on you. Because I can tell you, 99 out of 100, you have been under a spell. Break the spell. Number one, take some few days, weeks. Take as long as you can, and every night you go to sleep, pray, God, your universe, your angels, your good ancestors, you are breaking a spell. Break that covenant that was done between your caretakers and these deities. Break the covenant first. Okay? Make sure to break that covenant and do it with intention. Make sure that you mean it. Say it as long as you can. And then after breaking the spell, now that's when you start calling back your power. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen, my chosen ones? So that is when now, after taking some time to break those spells and curses that was placed on you, now you can start to call back your power. You call your glory back. You call your energy back. You call your destiny back. Everything the enemy has stolen from you many years ago when you was a kid, the time they put you to sleep. Now you're able to call back your power. Because if you do call back your power, in some cases it may work. It depends on your own personal energetic frequency. If you're the person that has been doing the work to raise your vibration, then eventually everything is going to go your way. But if you're the person who hasn't been pretty much putting too much energy into raising your own personal energy and vibration and frequency, then you're the one I'm talking to. Go back and break the spell. Take some few days, weeks, break that spell using your own dialect, religion, language you use, I don't know what, in ways that you understand. Then when that has happened, you now call back your power. Okay? So when I'm telling you that the healing of an empath is a very long process, I know what I'm talking about. There are some steps and levels to your healing before you will start to shine again. But everything starts with waking up. You have got to wake up first. Okay? Because it is the awakening that will give you a general awareness of every little detail. Because I've told you when you awaken, you remember who you are. Alright? So you do remember who you are. And you revisit all these childhood memories, and you remember exactly the things that used to happen when you was a kid. Some of them you may have forgotten, but some you remember. Break the spell in your own dialect, religion, language, I don't know. Then after some time, start calling back your power. Because when your power and destiny start gravitating back towards you, it is going to be removed by your angelic team from those people that put those spells on you, because they have been stealing your power. They have actually stolen your power from when you was a kid. It now starts to gravitate back towards you, and there will not be any resistance. Okay? So, if you need more help on this subject, book a session. You guys can like the page, share, and subscribe. You know I do love and appreciate your support. Let me know what you think. If you wish to donate or support my channel, there will be links in the comments below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Denzo Mo signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.